Dear friends, each of us has likely felt at least once that something special is happening within, as if an internal compass is pointing toward new horizons in life. Today, we will talk about an important and profound topic: how to understand that your soul is ready for a spiritual transition to a new stage of development. It is like the moment when a flower bud is about to bloom. On the outside, it may seem like nothing is happening, but inside, amazing processes of transformation are already underway. Similarly, a person may suddenly feel that their usual life has become constrictive, like old clothes that no longer fit. Many of you have probably noticed the occasional inexplicable feeling of being stuck between two worlds. The old one no longer brings satisfaction, and the new one has not yet taken a clear shape. This can cause anxiety and worry, as the unknown is always frightening. But it is important to remember that these feelings are a natural part of our development. In the modern world, where everything is measured by speed, success, and material achievements, talking about a spiritual transition may seem far removed from reality. However, now, when life is becoming increasingly tense and complex, it is especially important to learn to recognize the signals of your soul, to understand its needs and aspirations. Let us delve together into the signs that indicate readiness for inner changes. These signs may be as subtle as morning dew or as striking as a lightning flash, but all of them are equally important for understanding your path. Let us start with the most mysterious yet most reliable advisor: our inner voice. Often, the first sign of spiritual awakening is heightened intuition. There's a feeling as if a new channel of perception of the world has opened within you. You begin to hear your inner voice more clearly, as if someone has turned up the volume on an internal radio. This process can be compared to tuning a musical instrument. Initially, the sounds may seem chaotic, but gradually they merge into a pure, clear melody. Similarly, with the inner voice. At first, its signals may be unclear, resembling vague anxiety or an inexplicable feeling. But over time, they become clearer and more understandable. Many people describe how they begin to notice remarkable coincidences in their lives. For example, a person thinks about a decision, and suddenly it seems as if the whole world starts giving them hints through a random conversation, a book that falls into their hands, or even a billboard with the right words. Such coincidences are not accidental, but signs we previously overlooked. Intuition can manifest in various ways: a fleeting feeling, a sudden understanding, or even a physical sensation in the body. Some describe it as a slight tingling in the back of the head, others as a warm wave in the chest. It is important to learn to trust these signals, even if they contradict logic or conventional notions of how things should be. It is in such moments that we begin to realize that our soul seems to awaken from a long sleep and prepares for something new. It becomes more sensitive, more receptive to the subtle vibrations of life. One of the most apparent signs of spiritual awakening is a remarkable shift in attitude toward the material world. This does not mean you need to give away all your possessions or move to the wilderness. The changes occur much deeper and subtler. The perception of material values itself changes. Things that once seemed essential suddenly lose their appeal. A new phone, an expensive car, branded clothes, all of these may still bring pleasure but no longer serve as a source of happiness or a measure of success. There comes an understanding that material objects are merely tools that help us in life, not life itself. People often begin to notice how much unnecessary clutter has accumulated in their homes. A natural desire arises to get rid of unnecessary things, to clear the space around them. It is like a general cleaning, but it occurs not so much in the external world as within us. Each thing released seems to make room for something new, more important. Money, too, begins to be perceived differently. A more mature understanding of its role in life emerges. It ceases to be a goal, turning into a means. There is a desire to use material resources not only for oneself, but also to help others, to create something useful and meaningful. At the same time, the attitude toward money becomes calmer and more reasonable, without extremes of hoarding or squandering. It is essential to note that such changes occur naturally, without forcing oneself. It is not a rejection of the material world, but rather a new, more conscious way of interacting with it. It is as if you ascend to a new floor in a building, offering a completely different view of familiar things. In the process of spiritual growth, relationships with those around us change markedly. It is as if a veil falls from our eyes and we begin to see our connections with others in an entirely new light. It is like the moment you wear glasses for the first time. Everything around becomes sharper, but sometimes this clarity can even be unsettling. First of all, the quality of communication with loved ones changes. There arises a profound understanding that each person follows their unique path. The desire to remake others, to impose your opinion, or to judge them for their choices disappears. Instead, there develops the ability to accept people as they are, with all their peculiarities and shortcomings. Interestingly, during this period, there is often a need for solitude. This does not mean the person becomes a recluse or avoids communication. It simply means moments of being alone with oneself gain special value. This time is used not to escape the world, but for inner dialogue, reflection on what is happening, and restoration of energy. Even the circle of acquaintances may change. Some old connections naturally weaken, while new relationships with like-minded individuals emerge. This happens without conflicts or drama, just as shared interests and topics for conversation with some people gradually fade. With others, they arise anew. It is important to remember that there is no blame in this. It is a natural process of growth and development. Especially significant is the emergence of a new quality in relationships: sincerity. The need to wear masks, play roles, or conform to someone else's expectations disappears. Communication becomes more genuine and connections deeper, even if they become fewer. It is also crucial to pay attention to the physical manifestations of spiritual growth, as our body is a sensitive indicator of internal changes. Many notice that their perception of time begins to shift. Sometimes minutes stretch into hours, especially during moments of deep introspection, while at other times, an entire day flies by like a single moment. Unusual sensations may appear in the body: slight dizziness, tingling in different parts of the body, waves of warmth or coolness without any apparent reason. Some describe the feeling as if the air around them becomes denser or, conversely, lighter. It is akin to tuning a delicate musical instrument. The body adjusts to new vibrations. The perception of the surrounding space also changes. Often, there is a sense that familiar places look different. A room may seem larger or smaller, colors become brighter, and sounds sharper. Many people note an increased sensitivity to the energy of places and people. There arises a need to create one's personal space, where one can feel safe and harmonious. Sleep also undergoes changes. It may become more sensitive, and dreams more vivid and meaningful. Sometimes people wake up at the same time, for example, at 3 or 4 in the morning, feeling an unusual surge of energy. The need for the amount of sleep may also change. Some require more time to rest, while others find they can feel rested with fewer hours of sleep. It is important to remember that all these changes are a natural part of the growth process. They should not cause anxiety or concern. Our body is wise. It knows how to adapt to new states. You just need to listen to it and give it the necessary time to adjust. During this period, a natural attraction to spiritual practices and meditation begins to manifest. This happens as organically as feeling drawn to water on a hot day. Even if you have never been interested in such things before, now they seem to find you on their own, through books, videos, or random encounters with people. Meditation ceases to be something exotic or difficult. On the contrary, there arises an intuitive understanding of how to calm the mind and immerse oneself in a state of inner silence. This can occur not only during specific practices, but also in everyday moments, while walking, watching a sunset, or even washing dishes. Any action can become meditative if performed mindfully and with full presence. It is fascinating to observe how, during meditation, profound insights and understandings begin to emerge. It is as if access to inner wisdom, whose existence you previously did not even suspect, is unlocked. Answers to questions come not through logical reasoning, but through direct knowledge. Like a flash of light in a dark room, spiritual practices become not an obligation or routine, but a source of joy and renewal. There arises a desire to explore different techniques and methods, not out of curiosity, but from a deep inner need. At the same time, you begin to intuitively understand which practices suit you and which do not, regardless of their popularity or recommendations from others. It is important to note that this does not imply the need to completely change your lifestyle or religious beliefs. Spiritual practices become a natural addition to your life, helping you better understand yourself and your path. They act as a bridge between everyday reality and the more subtle dimensions of our existence. On the path of spiritual growth, fears and doubts naturally arise. It is like traveling through unfamiliar terrain. Each step can cause uncertainty. Questions arise. Am I really changing? Or is this just my imagination? Am I deviating from reality? How do I distinguish true signs from self-deception? The most common fear is the fear of losing one's mind. When you begin to perceive the world differently, noticing things you had not seen before, it may feel like you are losing touch with reality. It is important to remember that true madness never doubts itself. The mere fact that you ask questions and analyze your state indicates sound judgment. Another common doubt concerns the correctness of the chosen path. It seems that one wrong step could lead to being lost forever. But the spiritual path is like a river. It has many tributaries and branches, yet all eventually lead to the ocean. Even seemingly wrong turns and detours can prove to be important lessons and necessary experiences. There's often a fear of losing something important: relationships, a job, a familiar way of life. This fear is based on the illusion that spiritual growth requires renouncing worldly life. In reality, true changes do not destroy, but enrich our lives, making them fuller and more meaningful. Remember that doubts and fears are natural companions of any growth. They are like the immune system of the soul, testing the authenticity of our changes. It is important not to fight them, but to observe them with understanding and acceptance, allowing them to teach us something new about ourselves. In conclusion, it is important to speak about the most significant aspect: the naturalness of the entire process. Just as a child learns to walk, speak, and read in their own time, so too does the soul prepare for a new stage of development at the appropriate moment. This is not something artificial or imposed from the outside, but a deeply natural process embedded in the very essence of our being. Each person follows this path at their own pace. There is no race, no right speed, or universal schedule. For some, changes occur rapidly, like a mountain stream. For others, slowly and steadily, like the flow of a river across a plain. Both are equally valid and beautiful because they align with the unique nature of each soul. It is important to remember that spiritual growth is not a finish line with a clearly defined goal, but an endless journey of learning and development. Each level reached opens new horizons. Each answer generates new questions. And this is the extraordinary beauty of our journey. It never ends, always remaining a source of wonder, joy, and discovery. If you recognize yourself in the signs described, remember, you're not alone. Many people go through similar experiences, and each contributes their unique pattern to the overall tapestry of human development. Trust yourself, listen to the voice of your soul, and it will surely lead you to where you need to be. And most importantly, be kind to yourself on this journey. Treat your spiritual growth with the same tenderness and patience that a caring gardener shows to a blossoming flower. For each of us is a unique miracle, unfolding in its own time and according to its own laws. Friends, thank you for accompanying me in this deep conversation about spiritual development. I hope this information helps you better understand yourself and the changes happening in your life. If this video was helpful to you, subscribe to the channel. There are many more interesting topics for discussion ahead. Turn on notifications to avoid missing new episodes, and share your experiences in the comments. Perhaps your story will help other travelers on this amazing path of self-discovery. Take care of yourself and remember, you are unique and worthy of love. See you next time.